Hello everyone, welcome to KPIAS UPSC Universe. I am Sowjanya, Faculty of Current Affairs. In this video, we're going to discuss one important article from the Hindu today. So the article that we're going to discuss today is IIP raises 5.2% led by infrastructure. So these are the things that we're going to discuss in this video today. So first of all, we'll look at why is this topic news, and then we'll look at the syllabus relevance for UPSC, both for prelims and for mains, and then we'll look at a prelims question and also a mains practice question, and then here we'll discuss the importance of this index of industrial production IIP and its differentiation with ASI, that is annual survey of industries. We'll discuss the importance of this IIP and also some criticisms for this IIP, and then we'll have a detailed explanation of important concepts. So the major concept in this particular article is index of industrial production. So first of all, you have to know what is this index of industrial production, that is IIP, and then you have to know who compiles it, how is it compiled, and then you have to know the base year, the characteristics or the features of this IIP, and then you have to know the importance basket of products in IIP and the recent trends that we have. So this is what we are going to discuss in this particular video. So let's move forward. So why is it a news? Industrial output expanded at the fastest pace in 3 months in May, buoyed by infrastructure to grow by 5.2% compared with April's 4.46%. So this IIP, this is compiled monthly, so we'll discuss in detail how is it compiled and all. So it is published monthly. So if you look at the data for April, it is 4.46%, and compared to April, the data for May, it has increased, so it is 5.2%. So the industrial output has definitely, here if you can see regarding the data that we have, it has expanded. And coming to the UPSC syllabus relevance, for prelims it comes under Indian economy, and for mains it comes under general studies 3, Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and employment. And as we have discussed, the major important concept in this particular article is index of industrial production, that is IIP. So previous year questions are very important for us from examination point of view. So only when you go through the previous year questions both for prelims and mains, you'll get to know the pattern how questions can be framed from a particular article. So here you can see in the year 2015 we had already a question regarding this IIP. So in the index of 8 core industries, which of the following has the highest weightage? So we are going to also discuss the basket of goods that are compiled, on which this data is compiled. So you have to know what all goods are, what all sectors are included in this IIP, and then you have to know the weightage of different sectors, which sector is having the highest weightage, etc., so that you can answer questions like this. So here, according to these 4 options, here the correct answer will be electricity generation. So electricity generation has the highest weightage among these 4. So not overall weightage. So just look at the 4 options that we have here. Among these 4 options, electricity generation has the highest weightage. So moving forward to today's prelims practice question, consider the following statements about the index of industrial production. So the statements that we have here are: the index of industrial production IIP, it is calculated using the Laspeyres formula, and the weightage of crude oil is the highest in IIP. So as we have discussed, we have a basket of goods and we have different sectors which are included under this IIP. So among those, crude oil has the highest weightage according to the second statement. So here you have to identify the correct statement. So here the correct answer is A. So let's have a look at the explanation. The IIP is compiled as a simple weighted arithmetic mean of production relatives by using Laspeyres formula. So this formula name is important. So do remember this Laspeyres formula. So if you get a question regarding this IIP, if you get a mains question wherein you can use this particular phrase, please do use it so that it adds more weight to your answer. So IIP is calculated using this Laspeyres formula. So what is this formula? So it is a method for calculating the consumer price index that compares the current year's price of the basket of items to the base year. So here we have two important things. One is the current year and the other one is the base year, right? So as we have seen, we already have a basket of goods. So among these basket of goods, what it will do is it will compare the consumer price index that is the price of these basket of items in the current year and in the base year, right? So here we have, for example, 10 items. So the price of these 10 items, it is compared, half is the price of these 10 items in the base year and the price of these items in the current year. So in this way, this comparison is done. So the consumer price index of these basket of goods is compared with the current year and the base year. So this is what is our last price formula. This is used for the calculation of IIP. So do remember this formula. And then coming to the 8 core sector industries. So in the decreasing order of their weightage, here you can see the weightage. So refinery products have the highest weightage. So do remember this, refinery products has the highest weightage in this IIP, followed by electricity, and then we have steel, coal, crude oil, natural gas, and then cement, and then at the last we have this fertilizers, which has the least weightage. So refinery is the one which has the highest weightage and the fertilizers has the least weightage. So refinery products have the highest weightage, do remember that, followed by electricity, then we have steel, coal, crude oil, and then we have natural gas, cement and fertilizers. So these are the 8 core sector industries that we have, and this is the decreasing order of their weightage in IIP. So you have to try to remember this order also, because already a question has been asked on this weightage. So here if we can see in this particular question, if you remember only the highest weightage one and the least weightage one, it would not help you to answer this question, right? So you have to remember the entire 8 sectors, only then you will be able to answer questions like these. So moving forward to today's mains practice question, discuss the significance of IIP and its criticisms. Also bring about the difference between Index of Industrial Production and Annual Survey of Industries ASI. So if you get a question like this, first of all you have to define what is IIP. So what is IIP? How is it compiled? Who publishes this IIP? What are the sectors that are included in this? What is a basket that is included in this IIP? So in this way you have to give a brief about IIP. So this would be your introduction, and then you can move forward to the body of this particular question. That is, you have to mention what is the significance or the importance of IIP to our economy. So why are we calculating this IIP? How would it help us for our economy? So in this way you have to mention all the significance or the important points regarding this IIP, and then you have to also give some criticisms for this IIP. And then in the second part of the question you can see the difference between IIP and ASI, that is Annual Survey of Industries. So this is how you have to give your answer, and then you have to give a conclusion for this. So this would be a rough framework of how you can answer this particular mains practice question. So let's have a look at the detailed explanation of important concepts, that is our industrial production index, that is IIP. So coming to the compilation of IIP, this is compiled by CSO. So this is now known as National Statistical Office, NSO. So previously we have discussed that regarding this merger. So about NSO, if you look at NSO, since we have this topic of NSO over here, we'll just have a look at this NSO. NSSO is different, NSO is different, and CSO. These are 3 different entities for now. Remember this separately. So coming to NSO, NSSO, that is National Sample Survey Office. This used to work under the Ministry of Statistics, right, until May 2019. So until 2019, what happened? Our National Sample Survey Office, it used to work under the Ministry of Statistics. So what happened after that? On 23rd of May 2019, Indian government passed an order. So this order is regarding the merger. So what is this merger? This merger is regarding CSO and NSSO. So NSSO, it was merged with CSO and it has given rise to NSO. So this is one important thing that you have to remember. Right. So do remember this merger, National Sample Survey Office NSO, it was merged with CSO, Central Statistics Office, and it has given rise to this NSO, that is National Statistical Office. And this merger, it has happened in the year 2019. So this is one important point that you have to remember from examination point of view. And this NSO, the finally merged entity, this comes under our Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, right? So do you remember this? So first of all, as you can see, this NSSO and CSO, they were merged and it has become NSO. So before NSO, that is before 2019, this IIP, it used to be compiled by CSO, and now since it has merged with NSSO, now it is being compiled by our National Statistical Office. So this operates under our Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, as we have already discussed. So this is the basic details about the compilation of IIP. So who publishes this IIP? So what is IIP? It is a composite indicator measuring changes in the volume of production of a basket of industrial products over a period of time with respect to a chosen base period. So as we have discussed earlier, we have a basket of products first. So in this basket, for example, you have 10 products. So for these 10 industrial products, we have a particular base year. So if you look at the base year for IIP, it is currently 2011-12. So this is one more important point that you have to remember, that is base year of IIP. You can definitely expect statement based questions on points like these. So do remember the base year for IIP is 2011 and 12. So if you compare this base year to this, the prices in the current year, these are compared, right? So as we have seen, this is what is our last price formula. So the basket of goods that we have in case of IIP, we have a basket of industrial products. So for these products, half is the volume of production. So it measures the changes in the volume of production of this basket of industrial products. So if you take these 10 products, the volume of production, so how much production has happened in the base year? So in 2011 and 12, if you compare a particular sector, how is the volume of production of goods in that year, and that would be compared to the current year. So the volume of production is compared over here. So do you remember this? This is one important point that you have to remember. Here the volume of production is compared, and it is compiled and published on a monthly basis by the CSO. So this has now become NSO after the merger with NSSO, and this is with a time lag of 6 weeks from the reference month. So for example, we have April as a reference month. It would be published after 6 weeks. That is 1.5 month, right? So it is compiled as a simple weighted arithmetic mean of production relatives by Laspeyres formula. So as we have discussed already, Laspeyres formula is one more important point that you have to remember. So it compares the consumer price index of the base year with the current year, and in case of IIP, we are considering the volume of production. So how much volume of production has been done in the base year, and how much volume of production of these basket of industrial products has been done in the current year. This would be compared, and this would be published on a monthly basis, and the publishing of this data, this would be done with a lag of 6 weeks or 1.5 month. So this is the basic details that you have to remember regarding IIP. So However, the unit of reporting in respect of certain items like machinery, machine tools, shipbuilding, etc., this will be in value terms, right? And the monthly figure of production value in such cases, in these cases, what will happen is it will be deflated by the wholesale price index. So this will be for the wholesale price index of corresponding categories, and this will be released by the Office of Economic Advisor, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So the scope of IIP as recommended by the United Nations Statistical Office, this includes mining, manufacturing, construction, electricity, etc. But since we have some constraints regarding the data availability for these, IIP that is compiled in India, it has excluded this construction, gas and water supply sectors. So coming to the characteristics of this IIP, so what are the various characteristics of IIP? So it gauges the pace of growth of many industry categories. So as we have discussed, we have a basket of industrial goods that are considered. So in IIP, a basket of industrial goods are considered, and for these, how is the pace of growth that will be gauged or that will be measured in this particular IIP. So as we have seen, the base year, what is the volume of production, and in the current year, what would be the volume of production. So in this way, we are comparing the growth of a particular sector, that is in the basket of industrial goods. Among these, we are comparing this volume of production from the base year to the current year. So in that way, we are measuring the pace of growth. And mining, manufacturing and electricity industries, these are all the broad sectors, and using base sectors like such as basic goods, capital goods and intermediate goods. And it includes 8 core industries. So we have seen the 8 core industries, and also we have also discussed the decreasing order of weightage of these industries in IIP. So they represent 40% of the weight of items that are included in IIP. So the 8 core industries of India, you have to remember the 8 industries for sure, not only the highest and the least one. You have to remember the entire list of 8 sectors, and you have to also remember the weightage of these 8 sectors. And the 8 core industries included like electricity, steel, refinery products, crude oil, coal, cement, natural gas and fertilizers. So coming to the importance of industrial production index IIP, it is used to measure the physical volume of production. So volume of production of these basket of industrial goods, it is compared from the base year to the current year. This is what is the definition of IIP, and it is used by different government agencies for various policy making initiatives. So why are we using this IIP? Why are we comparing this? Why are we measuring the growth in these sectors? So that it will help the government agencies for policy making. So how do they frame the policies? First of all, they have to look at how is the growth in the economy for different sectors. Based on that, policy would be formulated. Right. For example, our Ministry of Finance or the Reserve Bank of India, if they want to come up with a particular policy, first of all, they'll look at how is the performance of these sectors in the economy by the data from indices like these, and then they'll come up with the formulation of a particular policy. It is also used for the calculation of quarterly and advanced GDP estimates. Even for our GDP estimates, that is gross domestic product estimates, even for that also this data would be used, and this is used by business analysts, financial experts, private industry for different purposes. And it also tells us about the gross value added of manufacturing sector quarterly, that is for every 3 months. So what will be the gross value added for the manufacturing sector? This would be also given by this particular data of IIP. So this is the importance of IIP. So what are the various basket of products that we have under index of industrial production? There are 6 subcategories under this. So primary goods, what comes under primary goods? We have mining, electricity, fuels, fertilizers, etc. And then we have capital goods. Under capital goods, we have all machinery items. And under the intermediate goods, we have yarns, chemicals, semi-finished steel items, etc. Why are these intermediate goods? Because using these intermediate goods, final goods would be produced. And infrastructure goods, under this we have paints, we have cement, bricks, tiles, rail materials, etc. And consumer durables, we have garments, passenger vehicles, telephones. And under consumer non-durables, we have food items, medicines, toiletries, etc. So these are the 6 subcategories that we have. Right. So coming to the recent trends, so if you look at the today's article, these are the recent trends that we have. So electricity generation, it has snapped a 2-month contraction to rise 0.9%. Mining and infrastructure sector, it has a rate of 6.4 and 5.7%. And the production of consumer durables, it has rebounded to growth. So it has again come back to growth for the first time in 6 months, expanding 1.1% compared to a 2.5% contraction in April. So here we have the comparison of data with April months. If you look at the data from April, so this is what has happened. So it has expanded 1.1%. And infrastructure and construction goods output, it has continued to drive up the IIP, rising 14%. Right. And capital goods production growth, it has also increased from 6.2% in April to 8.2% in May. So here no need to remember this percentages. All you have to remember is whether there is a drastic growth in a particular sector or there is a fall in the production of a particular sector. So you have to remember the overall trend in this particular IIP. So what has happened with a particular sector, that is what you have to remember. So no need to remember the percentages, do not worry with the numbers. So try to remember the trends, whether it has increased or decreased. So if we look at the question that we have, back to our mains practice question, we have discussed the basic details of IIP. So what is this IIP? How is it compiled? So who publishes it? So all these details were discussed. We have also discussed the significance of this or the importance of this. So for example, we have the policy making, for the making of formulation of various policies, and also for the analysis of various sectors. So sector wise analysis will be also possible with the data from the IIP that we have. And then we have the monetary policy of RBI. So for the policy making of maybe our Ministry of Finance, be it our Reserve Bank of India, for monetary policy making, for sectoral analysis. So for all these things, the data from IIP would be used. But this IIP also has some criticisms. So what are the various criticisms that we have? So that is, it has a limited data. And also if you look at the scope of this, it has a bit of a narrow scope. So all the sectors are not included. The scope of the IIP is a bit narrow and it has a bit limited data. And then as we have discussed, there is a delay of 6 weeks. So in the publishing of the data, there is a delay of 6 weeks that we have. So these are various criticisms that you can mention. So coming to the difference between this, so we have to also mention the difference between IIP and ASI. Right, according to our question, you have to also mention this. So if you look at the IIP, this is from the beginning of the period. So whatever industries are present in the beginning of the period, from that, these would be considered. And if you look at the ASI, what would happen? This is according to the Factories Act of 1948. So for IIP, this will consider the industries from the beginning of the period, and for ASI, Annual Survey of Industries, it would consider the Factories Act of 1948, whatever factories were established, for those the data would be considered. And also regarding the value added, so the value added would be considered under ASI, and we have already discussed about the IIP calculation. So there is a difference between the calculation of this IIP and also ASI. So these are the various things that you have to remember. So coming to the recent trends that we have in today's news article, don't try to get through the numbers or the percentages. Do remember the trends that we have. So basically, how is it compiled, who publishes it, what is the formula that is used, what are the various sectors that are present in this particular IIP, what are the basket of industrial goods that are used, so how is the volume of production in the base year and NAV, how is it published. So if we compare with the previous month's data, what is the improvement in various sectors that we have, which sectors have fared well in this IIP recent data that we have. So these are the various things that you have to remember regarding today's article. Hope you have liked this video. Thank you.